Alfred Hitchcock makes an important and meaningful distinction between suspense and surprise. Surprise is vapid. It lasts for a minute, it's transient, it's fading, it's fleeting, and then it deteriorates and a new status quo establishes itself. If I saw a zebra in my living room, that would be very surprising, but it wouldn't be suspenseful. There wouldn't be any added meaning or significance to it. It would just be a very odd event that would leave me with questions to answer. Suspense is different. Suspense has an order and a coherence to it. The example Hitchcock uses is if a bomb goes off, that's surprising. If we see a bomb slowly ticking down and we know that it will go off, that's suspenseful. There's a sense of anticipation and anxiety to it. It has meaning and significance, adding this layer of dread and true despair. And that is more what the Dragon Prince is doing with Claudia. And that is the direction the show takes her character. This becomes more and more clear with every passing season. Claudia is not a vile person at the core of her being. She is not completely reprehensible. She deeply loves her father, and she feels betrayed by her brother. She's not emotionless. She's not a robot of malice. She did, in fact, deeply care for Callum at one point in her life. And if all our adventures that the Dragon Prince has depicted over its run did not happen, the two of them might have ended up together and lived a perfectly happy life. But that's not what happened. Instead, Claudia was left completely deracinated. She was left with no sense of community, no sense of meaning, no sense of connection. Individuals inevitably draw a sense of coherence from a larger whole, from being a part of a larger sense of purpose, a community, a sense of continuity beyond the self. Just like the soil nourishes the roots of a plant, a larger whole, larger sense of community, a social fabric nourishes the roots of the individual. But when the individual is taken out of that soil, when they are uprooted and left drifting on a world seemingly devoid of significance, directionless and disoriented, there is not much for them to do. I want to be clear that I am not defending Claudia's choices, many of which are bad, nor am I defending her devotion to Erebos, which can only lead to increased suffering and sorrow for both herself and others. What I am saying is that the sense of meaning and significance that defined her life, sense of value, came from her father, her brother, this little family that they've kept stitched together even after mom left. And it came from the sense that they were devoted to something good and righteous, the betterment of humanity, against the callousness and the unfeeling, smug superiority of the elves. Soren leaves Virenside without much difficulty. He is a rather jock-like guy. He does not have a lot of these subterranean feelings. He simply followed his father because he believed his father was right and a good guy, and when he couldn't do that anymore, he left. And he joined Callum, and he's happy. Claudia, conversely, like Viren, clung even tighter to her ideology, her beliefs, and to her father, and what he wanted, to his grander plot, just as he commits to Erebos and all Erebos' plans for him when that sense of certainty is taken away. Harrow dies, the kingdom falls into chaos. Everyone is trapped in this paralysis. Viren wants to act. He wants to destroy the elves, and he wants to be able to use this wild, dark force in order to do it. And everyone turns against him. Everyone is shocked and appalled, and ultimately he's defeated and he has to escape. He starts to question himself, but Claudia does not. Claudia, as the foundation on which her beliefs are founded, crumbles, clings tighter to what fragments still exist. She deeply needs that sense of purpose. Without it, she's lost. She's disaffected and angry and bitter. Viren accepts his own frailty. He accepts his own incapacity to achieve the goals he wanted. Whenever he tried harder and harder to fight for what he believed to be better for his family and for humans as a whole, he only caused more grief and more suffering. His actions were ultimately futile. This is a bitter revelation at which to arrive, but he does. And he ultimately accepts his own death. He accepts the cards that fate has dealt him and does not contest them anymore. It is a sorrowful ending for him, but it is an appropriate one. Claudia, conversely, continues. She can't do that. She is firmly devoted to Erebos' beliefs. She is firmly devoted to his temptings. Unlike Viren, who, despite his faults, was genuinely an ideologue and genuinely committed to what he believed to be better for his people and the kingdom as a whole, Claudia simply wants to commit to her family. She feels that her family has been betrayed. Everything else stems from that sense of betrayal, that severing of any sort of continuity or coherence. So she clings to Erebos, the only figure out there who tells her that she's right, that she has been treated ill, that she should not submit, should not accept humiliation, but that she should continue to fight, and that doing so is right and noble for the benefit of humanity. It is a sad situation that Claudia is in. Viren led her to this path, but he recognized he was wrong, and he never wanted her to go this far, and yet she has nonetheless. It is very easy, I think, to simply call her out, to call her a terrible person or someone who has lost the way. It's very easy to say that she was too devoted to the love of her family, too devoted to this narrow ideological vision that someone like Viren propagated, to accept the failures of that vision. And all of that is true. But fundamentally, the larger problem is sociological. Claudia is left uprooted. She's left with nothing. Whether or not this is a just fate or a fair fate is not really what matters. What matters is that she doesn't have anything. She can either accept the role of the evil villain, who must constantly be ashamed of everything she's done, despite the fact that others have abandoned her, and that many people have refused to really reach out or understand how she's feeling, or she can continue committing to that path. I think of Dickens, who wrote a lot of stories about individuals, a lot of whom are women around Claudia's age, who stray from the so-called righteous and good path, but they have also been failed by a larger society. I think of someone like Fanny Dorrit, the fashion-obsessed, wealth-obsessed older daughter in Little Dorrit, or I think of Estella in Great Expectations. These are both characters who are haughty, dismissive, a bit arrogant. But Dickens makes clear what they lack, which is this support network, this sense of community, the sense of a larger whole, a larger social fabric, to inculcate in them a moral and just sense of purpose and meaning. Instead, they are failed by those around them. They're given a sense of meaning and significance that is shallow, that is materialistic, that is narrow, that is selfish, and that ultimately does not provide a coherent moral center in an uncertain world. And so they become cynical, they become disaffected, they become jaded. They become a mix of drastic actions and general apathy about a world that they believe is rotten. Claudia, I think, is quite similar to these characters. It is easy to condemn them on an individual level, but on a societal level, they have been failed by a lack of a nourishing and supportive sense of community that gives them a sense of meaning and purpose in life, that gives them a sense of connection with others, that gives their lives a sense of coherence. They don't have that, and instead they're left trapped in between a world that they think is shallow, vacuous, and cold, and on the other side, petty and superficial envies and passions and caprices that do not provide any meaning or purpose. It's a sense of isolation and a sense of disaffection. I feel that Estella and Fanny are both characters of great pathos, characters one feels a sense of pity, but also a sense of relationality too. And I feel the same way about Claudia. So anyway, thank you all for watching. If you liked what you saw today, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Donate to my Patreon if you can, if you want to see more videos just like this one before anyone else. Keep watching The Dragon Prince. It's still a great show. I greatly appreciate the chance to watch it. Adios, comrades.